Individuals who contributed so much to the development of Wisconsin Dells, and especially the Wisconsin Dells Visitor and Convention Bureau. So in 1989, we've inducted 11 individuals. In 1989, Jack Olson was the very first inductee, and of course most people in this room probably don't know who Jack Olson was. But I always tell people, when you get on the interstate, coming from Chicago or coming from Milwaukee, and you look at those big, huge green signs there that say Wisconsin Dells, you know, straight ahead. Jack Olson, you can thank for that. So that legacy has certainly carried forth. Tommy Bartlett was put in for his tremendous promotional activities, and Russ Tollickson for unifying Lake Delton and Wisconsin Dells. Bud Stanton, who was the founder of the Chamber of Commerce back there. Our old friend Pete Helen, we don't need to say anything about him because he was a legend in himself. Ben Olson, John Dixon, Jack Gray, Bud LaCour, and most recently Kenny Foster, who I think was on the board for many, many years and is treasurer. So it gives me a great privilege tonight to induct our 12th individual, and probably, without a doubt, the most deserving individual of this award. The Waterman family has been in the tourism business since the Civil War. When I came here, the Waterman Hotel was not in existence anymore, but I certainly have seen enough pictures of it. Turk began his tourism career in the late 40s and early 50s, shining shoes in Broadway with Jeff Wimmer and several of other of Turk's friends. From there, he moved on to wash dishes at Kip's Bar and the Sandbar. And then finally, I think his parents decided that he had to really do something, and they shipped him off to the Navy. And he was in the Navy from 17 years old to 21 years old, and certainly doing electronics work with guided missiles, learned a heck of a lot. When he came out of the Navy, he decided he'd better go to college if he was going to achieve anything in his life. So from 9 years, he went to he went to UW Eau Claire and then switched over to UW Stevens Point. And Turk always told me they were the best 9 years of my life. After graduating, he decided to come back to the Dells and start his entrepreneurial career, and he opened up Turk's Leper Colony. Now that was Now, believe it or not, back in those days, we had beer bars and we had 21 bars, just alcohol. And this fearless leader co-founded the, which is now the Tavern League of Wisconsin, co-founded that. And if it weren't for his leadership back then, we would have about half the liquor licenses in the Delton area, because all those beer bars were able to be converted over. And I think, looking at that picture, probably most legislators were scared to death of that. In 1973, what started to be what is now a 40-year partnership, not only with his wife Judy, but with his brother Jack and Mary Waterman. And they have been doing business together for this 40-year period. They started out, and I remember it distinctly, at Riverview Park. And Turk took some of his electronics engineering and guided missile, and they started another company called Midwest Amusements, and Turk would design the shooting galleries, and then poor Jack would have to put them all together. And they traveled all over the world, and I think at one point in time, Midwest Amusements was the second leading producer of shooting galleries in the world, had galleries in Australia and China and all over the United States, and that's what started it. People wonder why they ended up at Noah's Ark. Well, my good friend Peter Helen was so smart at Riverview that when Turk and Jack asked if they could build a miniature golf course there, Of course, the answer was yes, but the rent will be 50%. So Turk and Jack decided to go down, and they purchased, I think it was 200 feet or 205 feet where Noah's Ark is sitting today. And of course, that's the beginning of the real story. Turk is a gentleman who displays the most unbelievable work ethic. Everything at Noah's Ark was built by them. There was no subcontractor, there was nothing. And Turk did a lot. And his real love, of course, was the bulldozers, the Michigans. And on occasion, he would even take along a good friend with him when he was doing his work. His work ethic, management skills, and his uncanny ability to marry Judy, because she was as smart and as hardworking as he was. Certainly Noah's Ark changed the complexion of Wisconsin Dells. I remember all those years we couldn't get a customer out of Madison because we were too honky-tonk. But once Noah's Ark was built and the TV commercials started to go, you couldn't keep a kid from wanting to tell his parents, we've got to go to Wisconsin Dells, we want to go to Noah's Ark. So we took a tremendous jump when Noah's Ark was in its rapid growth period, and the jobs that were created by Noah's Ark, both full-time jobs, year-round jobs, and certainly seasonal jobs. And it really jump-started us to the next phase of our summer operation, because prior to that, it was pretty dead in town up until about the 4th of July weekend. We all know that the Waterman sold Noah's Ark to the Gantz family in 1994, and I remember Judy telling me, this is great, Turk's going to slow down, and he slowed down all right, as all he did was expand Copacabana Resort, build 3 Hula Hands restaurants, the Cova Lake Geneva, which was a 220-unit condo hotel, built King Ludwig's, Timber Falls, and if that wasn't enough, in 1997 he decided that he would raise the bar of indoor water park hotels by building Great Wolf. And certainly that was the impetus, along with Wilderness, to make us a 4 Seasons destination.